know it's you.
7 days.
Nice try, come on. I recognize your voice, Dark Shadow.
What? How do you know it was me?
Next time if you try to pull another prank, why don't you do yourself a favor? Why don't you bring like Tall Man or Freddy or anybody in my alley to come into my house and knock on the damn door?
I'll keep that in mind.
Finally, now I can rest. Wonder who's at the door. You.
Well, it's summer, folks. Kind of think of it. Why is it so late? And why am I here? Usually I'm always sleeping during the summer. I migraine a lot. What it looks like we're gonna have is a summer horror movie review, starting with me and Bones. Speaking of Bones, where the hell is he? He's running late. Okay, if he's not here for another 5 minutes, I'm just gonna review.
Spheres, dwarves, and the tall man. They're everywhere.
Oh, there he is. About damn time, too.
Oh, hey guys, this is P.M.R.Bonez88's. And it's the summer now, and which means it's summer horror movie review continuing on. So today for our next review that I'll be talking about today is Phantasm II. So the returning star, Reggie Bannister, and Angus Scrimm, aka the Tall Man. And also Don Coscarelli returned to direct this film. And this movie came out in theaters in the summer of 1988, in which this movie competed with the other films that came out in the same year, and
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Jason, Freddy, Chucky, everyone that was there in 1988. We heard the same story there, Bones. We don't want to hear it again.
Okay, is that really necessary for you interrupting me like that?
Yes, it really is, because you've been saying that to every single review. But give me a break here. You're giving me a headache.
Well, don't do that again next time.
Whatever.
Now, with Phantasm II, and Don Coscarelli did return for the second time to direct this film, apparently critics were very disappointed and it literally bombed the box office big time. But to me, Phantasm II was a good, decent action/horror film. But there were a couple of things that was really disappointed, especially with the replacement actor for Mike's character. Why couldn't they bring back the original actor, Michael Bowen? He was pretty good. Some people said that his acting was a little terrible for the first film. I thought he was good playing as the character Mike in the first Phantasm movie, and I wish he would have come back for it. But then again, this other actor, he was okay, so it was good just to play Mike for only just for this one time in this Phantasm movie. But throughout the other sequels, 3, Oblivion, and Ravager, the same actor finally did return to play as Mike once again.
To think of it, Phantasm II was actually the best sequel. It actually became a horror cult. But unlikely with the Rotten Tomatoes, they just gave it a poor rating, including a couple of movie critics was not really pleased on Phantasm II.
So this movie begins on the aftermath of the first Phantasm movie. So eventually that Mike and Reggie were getting ready to go on a road trip, and Mike was in his room. But eventually the tall man was already there. He grabbed Mike, and then Reggie rescued Mike, defeated all the dwarves, and then blew up his house.
But how the hell they got into the house? That's a good question.
So now we fast forward to 10 years later, where we introduced to a new character named Liz. Now eventually, I was curious, was this character in the first film? I wasn't really too sure, but perhaps she was maybe mentioned, I don't know, but either way, now Mike is in a mental institution because he thought he was crazy and no one believed him about his tall man story. But in the next day, he finally got released, that he knew that the tall man wasn't real, it was all in his head, so he was finally released. During the night, Mike decided to go down to the cemetery to dig up some more grave to be sure that the tall man was real. Reggie stopped him, and Mike trying to convince him that the tall man was real and the dwarves were real, everything about it was real. But at first Reggie thought he was just being crazy and he didn't really believe him. So he took him home, and then Mike had some sort of a strange vision that the tall man was at his house, and he turned on the gas and the house all of a sudden just blew up and killed all of Reggie's family. So at that point on, Reggie was really upset, but finally believes in Mike that the tall man is real and all the supernatural stuff that was happening too. So now this time, both Mike and Reggie were going on a war and a hunt for the tall man.
Well, looks like Reggie is going combat and fighting those fucking dwarves. So now Mike and Reggie are on the hunt to find the tall man. And once again they go into another town that has no people. The tall man has been wiping out everybody, turning them into dwarves or those silver ball spears. Yep, that's right.
With the music score, it was actually a techno 80s pop they just combined it on, and it was very fast paced and very high energetic. Unlike with the first one with the music score, it was very dark and creepy and very ominous. But this second one was very high tech and very high poppin'. It's almost like you want to dance to the beat. They used that same music score for the third film, but not for Oblivion or Ravager. Well, sort of a bit with Ravager, because they did add it with a little bit of rap and pop music for it to it as well. But this music score is such a classic and is definitely one of my favorites. There are some funny scenes in the second film. One scene where the priest was about to kill the grandfather, but unfortunately, he was dead. But then when he stabbed him, Liz's grandmother showed up, and all of a sudden he looked at her and he did the craziest dramatic hamster scene ever. That should be a good scene right there. Oh man, that is such a classic.
If you ever make a meme, here's your picture. So by there, Liz tries to find her grandmother, but she runs into the priest, and the priest tells her to hide. And what happens then? One of those spheres chops off his ears, and the other just stabs him right in the head and gush out all the blood. In which that really kind of ticked me off. They barely even see the blood. They kept cutting it off so many scenes every time whenever the priest was getting killed. And the blood just starts gushing out. In a quick second, they just show like all the scenes skipping up to Liz scene and then the tall man and oh, come on. Why would they do that?
And another funny scene ever was where the one-hand corner guy was about to hatch Liz, but then all of a sudden the golden sphere popped out of nowhere that somehow it just saved Liz's life. And at that point on, the golden sphere just started to like inside right on his back and would start killing him right on the inside. And he was just going all over around, going all batshit crazy, like what the fuck is going on? And 1 minute he's fine, and thought it was all over, but the golden sphere still continues killing him on the inside, and right until it goes right into his throat and right into his mouth. So technically, the golden sphere was stuck right in his mouth, and the corner guy, oh, he was dead. Now closer to the end, where Mike, Reggie, and Liz found the tall man's lair, and also known as his domain, where his army of dwarves were like all set and ready to go. Once they were about to destroy it, the tall man just reappeared out of nowhere and just took Liz and threw Mike right in the outer dimension again. Reggie and Mike were stuck in the domain for now, but somehow it was quite different. It was add some more details to it, and I mean, yeah, it was red in the outer dimension, but I felt like it was like 3D-ish something. I don't know what was going on. The tall man was about to kill Liz, and yet somehow Mike and Reggie come to save Liz. So by there, the three of them finally kill the tall man into a very high, gruesome death. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Before that happened, Reggie added some chlorophyll acid something in case the tall man ever wanted to bomb one of these dead corpses and turn them into zombie dwarves or something. And back to this again, the three of them finally kill the tall man, destroy the domain, and finally they were set free and the nightmare was over. Or was it? So after done talking about this film, part 2 wasn't too bad. With the negative reviews that was happening, including with Rotten Tomatoes, they didn't really like it. They gave it the lowest rating ever. Roger Ebert said that there was like too much nightmarish images happening and the storyline didn't really make no sense. I mean, yeah, to me, some scenes didn't make no sense and some that might have kind of been confused, including the communication with Liz and Mike. None of that. I think the sequel was too bad. I thought it was decent. I think it was very good. I think it was good and very terrifying. And with the character's development, Reggie was becoming much more of a badass and more of a fighter and a soldier. And as for James LaGrosse that played the new Mike, I think he wasn't too bad, but wishing that Michael A. Baldwin would have returned to play as Mike for the second time. I mean, yeah, he did return for the third film just to reprise his role. Some violence were kind of toned down, especially like I said about where the spear just hit the priest and we didn't see the blood like gushing out, just like what they did for the first film. They kind of toned that and cut it down too. I thought at first it was just, you know, a TV edition, because when I saw it on a regular TV, I thought they just skipped that out. And when I saw it on VHS or on DVD, it was the same thing. I think due to the MPA, they just like toned down the violence. I think that's what happened. I think part 2 is definitely worth watching, and it's a good, decent sequel.
You know, Phantasm 2 is not too bad of a sequel. In fact, it was technically one of the best sequels ever.
So, just to rate this film, for Phantasm 2, I'll have to give it a 8 out of 10, equals to an 80%, so the grade will have to be a B+.
Well, to be honest, and to rate this film, I'll have to agree on Bones. 8 out of 10. This movie deserves a good grade. And unlike with the other Phantasm movies, they were pretty good too, but kind of think of it, they were starting to lose the tone and the elements of horror not really becoming more interesting. It was practically much more of the same story, having that I'd rather be sure if it was a dream or not. But would I recommend you guys to see it? Yes, I would definitely say so.
Phantasm 2 was definitely a decent horror sequel. Personally, it was much more of an action film and less of a very horror movie. Because the first film, it was definitely a very dark and creepy horror movie. And for part 2, it was like action and horror at the same time. And most likely the characters were very interesting, and I'm glad we get to see much more of the tall man in action, just seeing him much more killing people and using his powers and seeing all the spears just killing all these people. But technically, like once again with the dream sequences and the storyline, they might have been a little confused, and either way, Phantasm 2 is really good and definitely worth watching it. And those of you who didn't see it, you should definitely check it out. And I do have this movie on DVD only. And this is P.M.R.Bonez88's signing off. The saying is, peace!
This is not happening. We're gonna wake up. It's a dream.
It's only a dream.
No, it's not.